Good day, everyone. My name is David Pronoselli, and I'm pleased to welcome you to this session on leveraging AI tools in interpreting, demonstrations, insights, and research. Today's presentation is designed to offer you a comprehensive and critical understanding of artificial intelligence, particularly tools like GPT, on how they are shaping the landscape of language interpretation and translation. We will explore how these tools function, where they excel, where they still fall short, and how they currently are being used in professional settings. To begin, we'll engage with a live demonstration that illustrates the capabilities of GPT-based interpretation technology. From there, we'll move into an analytical discussion informed by recent research and industry studies, which provide insight into how interpreters, translators, and the rest of stakeholders are responding to AI integration. This includes practical case samples from the medical and legal fields, where AI tools are not only assisting, but transforming workflow structures. As we proceed today, I invite you to reflect not just on what these technologies can do, but also on what their increasing presence means for our professional development, our ethical responsibilities, and our roles as human communicators in an increasingly automated world. With that, I encourage you to take notes throughout this presentation, and let's get started. To begin our exploration, this next segment is a demonstration video of AI being used as a language interpreter. This clip serves as a visual and practical baseline for our conversation today. As you watch, please consider the quality of the AI's output, the interpreting pacing, the handling of nuance and fluency. What feels natural? What seems mechanical? We'll reflect on these observations in the next slide. Please feel free to observe and take notes throughout this presentation again.
Where were you going at that time?
¿A dónde ibas a esa hora?
Estaba yendo a mi trabajo.
I was going to my job.
Where do you work?
¿Dónde trabajas?
Trabajo en la factoría de muebles.
I work at the furniture factory.
What road were you traveling on?
¿Qué carretera estabas tomando?
Estaba en la ruta 9.
I was on Route 9.
How was the weather that day? Was it sunny, overcast, rainy? Was there fog, or could you see clearly?
¿Cómo estaba el tiempo ese día? ¿Estaba soleado, nublado, lloviendo o había niebla?
Estaba soleado. El clima estaba muy bueno. No estaba lloviendo.
It was sunny. The weather was good. It wasn't raining.
What vehicle were you driving at that time? Was it a work vehicle or personal vehicle?
¿Qué vehículo estabas conduciendo en ese momento? ¿Era un vehículo de trabajo o personal?
Era mi carro, pero también manejo la troca del trabajo.
It was my car, but I also drive the work trucks.
But you were not driving the truck on that day, right?
Pero no estabas conduciendo la camioneta ese día, ¿verdad?
No, señor. Estaba manejando mi carrito.
No, sir. I was driving my car.
This is case number 3 on the calendar, Mercedes versus Mercedes, docket 222333. Ma'am, raise your hand to be sworn in. Do you swear or affirm that your statement will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Este es el caso número 3 en el calendario. Mercedes versus Mercedes. Expediente 222333. Señora, levante la mano para prestar juramento. ¿Jura o afirma que su declaración será la verdad, toda la verdad y nada más que la verdad?
Sí, señor juez, lo juro.
Yes, Your Honor, I swear.
State your name.
Diga su nombre.
María Mercedes.
María Mercedes.
Why haven't you paid for your spousal support?
¿Por qué no ha pagado la manutención conyugal?
Es que mire, yo no tengo trabajo y solo tengo un chin de dinero, es muy poco dinero. Mi esposo era un lengua larga y nunca le quise pagar nada.
Well, look, I don't have a job, and I only have a tiny bit of money. It's very little. My husband was a blabbermouth, and I never wanted to pay him anything.
Ma'am, how come you're not working? And are you looking for work?
¿Por qué no está trabajando? ¿Está buscando empleo?
Sí, lo que pasa es que mi novio, tú sabes, él es un tigre y él me está ayudando a pagar mis biles. Mi trabajo estaba muy lejos y a mí no me gusta esa vaina.
My boyfriend, he's a tough guy, and he's helping me pay my bills. My job was really far away, and I don't like that kind of thing.
Ma'am, you have to pay for your spousal support. You signed an agreement with your former spouse during your divorce proceedings.
Pero tiene que pagar la manutención conyugal. Firmó un acuerdo con su ex esposo durante el proceso de divorcio.
Ya yo estoy cansada de pagar. No quiero darle ni un chele a ese hombre. Si me enjuician o me dan cárcel, no me importa.
I'm tired of paying. I don't want to give this man a single cent. If they take me to court or put me in jail, I don't care.
I cannot give you legal advice. However, you're free to consult with your attorney as to your marital settlement agreement you signed.
No puedo darle asesoramiento legal. Sin embargo, es libre de consultar con su abogado sobre el acuerdo de liquidación matrimonial que firmó.
La verdad es que ese abogado es un puro lambón. No me sirvió de nada, pero sí voy a hablar con otro abogado. Mi ex dijo que no le va a importar si le pago o no, pero bueno.
That guy was useless. He didn't help me at all. But yes, I will talk to another lawyer. My ex said he won't care if I pay or not, but, well.
Okay, Ms. Mercedes, your next hearing will be on October 23rd at 1:30. If you get a new attorney, please have the attorney contact the court before the next hearing.
Señora Mercedes, su próxima audiencia será el 23 de octubre a la 1:30. Si contrata a un nuevo abogado, por favor haga que el abogado se ponga en contacto con el tribunal antes de la próxima audiencia.
Me llamo Artemio Núñez Galván y mi dirección es Avenida Corona, número 17, Colonia Santa Isabel, México DF. Este es el domicilio de mi negocio y mi domicilio particular es calle Naranjo, número 1899, Colonia Cuauhtémoc, también en el DF. Soy gerente comercial de una pequeña editorial especializada en publicaciones sobre gastronomía y alta cocina internacional.
Got it. Here's the interpretation. My name is Artemio Núñez Galván. My address is Avenida Corona, number 17, Colonia Santa Isabel, Mexico City. This is the address of my business, and my personal address is Calle Naranjo, number 1899, Colonia Cuauhtémoc, also in Mexico City. I'm a commercial manager for a small publishing house specializing in publications about gastronomy and international haute cuisine.
The demonstration you just saw featured a generative pre-trained transformer, ChatGPT. It was prompted to act as a spoken language interpreter. Importantly, these tests were conducted under controlled conditions, but with real people and in real time. There were no prior setups or scripts given to the AI system. This shows that AI systems like ChatGPT can engage in live language mediation under unscripted circumstances. Whether the output was fully accurate or not, it is up to discussion. But this type of scenario provides us with an ideal starting point for deeper questions. What does it mean for our profession if machines can perform this task with some competency? To contextualize this question, we now turn to how AI is already being integrated into the medical and legal fields. So, how exactly are medical professionals leveraging AI tools today? This is not a hypothetical question. AI is already being deployed in patient care, diagnostics, administration, and beyond. We will begin by examining some of the administrative uses of AI in healthcare settings, and then we move into how these applications affect workflow and the roles of healthcare professionals, including language specialists such as interpreters and translators. In a medical context, AI is being used to optimize administrative functions that directly affect patient care and staff well-being. This includes automating appointment systems, forecasting patient inflows, and managing daily staff schedules. Overworked or understaffed medical teams suffer from reduced efficiencies and higher burnout rates. AI-based scheduling systems help forecast resources that are needed, and it will help enable flexibility for both staff and patients. One key example is in anesthesiology departments, where AI tools have greatly reduced administrative workloads and improved work-life balances for staff. According to a study from the American Society of Anesthesiologists, the use of predictive AI in scheduling has reduced burnout rates and enhanced patient satisfaction by optimizing appointment windows and resource allocation. Another significant example is from the Cleveland Clinic, where a virtual AI-powered command center now handles live forecasting and logistical coordination across its healthcare facilities. This system has three core functions. It monitors real-time patient admissions, it builds predictive staffing models, and allocates operating room time efficiencies. For example, the system can calculate how many beds will be needed on a Tuesday evening and adjust resource deployment accordingly. By minimizing downtime and prioritizing urgent surgeries, this model enhances operational outcomes while easing the burden on medical staff. This in turn improves patient satisfaction with the level of care that is being provided. The goal of AI deployment here is not to replace humans, but it is to optimize systems so that medical professionals are less overwhelmed and thereby better able to take care of patients. AI is also playing a transformative role in direct patient care. Consider Artera AI. This is a platform used to treat prostate cancer, and in the system, we have an integration of pathology images and clinical histories to assess treatment risk and personalized care recommendations. It operates by evaluating the patient's biopsy images and correlating them with large databases of outcomes to deliver precise, individualized assessments. This dramatically reduces the time needed to formulate treatment plans and enhances clinical accuracy. From the interpreter's perspective, the use of AI introduces complex new layers of communication. As interpreters and translators, we must be prepared to interpret or translate discussions that reference data-driven treatment suggestions, where probabilistic language, nuanced AI tech terminology, and patient emotions all intersect. Now that we explored both the administrative and clinical applications of AI medicine, we can start to think about how language professionals enter this ecosystem. As AI becomes embedded into healthcare delivery, interpreters and translators will face challenges in the form of alignment with these new technologies. We will now begin to look at how AI tools are being designed specifically for our field, from language generation and glossary building to performance feedback systems. This includes tools that are already in use today, as well as those in development. There is now a growing market of AI tools specifically intended for interpreters. These systems include real-time feedback engines that alert the interpreter about pacing, accuracy, or tone. Some even offer training that evaluate interpreters' performance and provide automated coaching. For example, an interpreter might wear an earpiece that receives AI feedback during a live session. The AI in turn instructs the interpreter to slow down or clarify a term if needed. These systems are designed to enhance performance, not to eliminate the human role. There are various opportunities for interpreters to get the training needed by leveraging these AI tools. Taking advantage of these opportunities will allow interpreters to get an edge in their interpreting performance. Using AI tools, training becomes more individualized and catered toward the trainee interpreter, which is a potential advantage found outside of regular human-led training modules. Now, let's move on to the legal field and how attorneys are leveraging AI tools. The legal profession has its own set of needs and challenges, and AI is being adopted there in various ways that might parallel or inform what we do in language services. In the legal field, artificial intelligence is increasingly being adopted across three domains: the practice of law, the business operations of law firms, and the personal productivity of attorneys. Legal professionals are using AI for case analytics, litigation prediction, budgeting estimates, and document review. Firms are evaluating how AI might augment research workflows or generate summaries of complex filings. In turn, adoption of AI comes with operational barriers. There are training gaps, organizational resistance to change, and ethical concerns surrounding data privacy. To facilitate implementation, law firms are using change management strategies, which identify internal champions, pilot small-scale projects, and then expand adoption of these new technologies. In some cases, they even develop proprietary AI tools in-house, while others purchase solutions from vendors. Understanding how law firms implement AI strategically can help interpreters anticipate how our work will intersect with these changing practices. A case study from a large law firm showed how attorneys used AI to summarize multilingual documents for a corporate dispute. AI tools translated the legal summary from one language to another language and highlighted critical provisions. Popular legal-specific AI tools include Case Text for legal research, Kira for contract analysis, and Harvey for legal language processing. Additionally, platforms like Lexis Plus AI offered tailored tools to blend traditional legal research with AI-driven insights. These systems are not replacing legal experts. They're enabling them to perform repetitive research, and they're enabling them to draft tasks more efficiently. Crucially speaking, many of these platforms undergo rigorous third-party security audits to ensure compliance with data protection laws and to safeguard sensitive client information during cloud processing. These measures are particularly important in legal contexts where confidentiality and data integrity are non-negotiable. As with medicine, those who can effectively integrate AI will be able to gain a performance edge. As to interpreters, this can serve as a point of reference on how we can approach the use of AI tools. A trust but verify approach when it comes to AI in the legal field in using these tools reflects how we as interpreters may be able to mimic these methods of knowing how to leverage AI. This principle captures the balance between embracing innovation and maintaining rigorous standards. While AI systems can offer new perspectives, such as highlighting case inconsistencies or surfacing rare precedents, they are not infallible. Lawyers are striving to validate every AI-generated suggestion. For example, the American Bar Association's Task Force on Law and Artificial Intelligence has published a video on their website that is titled How Large Law Firms Are Incorporating AI into Practice. In this video, panelists shared that firms are training legal staff in AI literacy. Interpreters, in turn, who wish to understand how to leverage AI tools should actively seek education and training. Having looked at legal practice, we now turn our focus to language professionals and their perception of AI. Multiple recent reports, including those by Interpreting Task Force and industry researchers, have surveyed interpreters, translators, language service providers, and clients. These reports investigate AI adoption rates, attitudes toward automation, and expectations for the future. They also reveal where misunderstandings persist and where AI is seen as a meaningful support tool. We'll begin by summarizing a key industry survey conducted by the Safe AI Task Force, which examines the evolving role of AI in interpreting. The Safe AI Task Force, in collaboration with CSA Research, surveyed a broad set of stakeholders: end users, limited English proficient individuals or LEPs, service requesters, technology providers, and interpreters. The goal was to gather sentiment data and assess current AI use in interpreter services. The report also included recommendations for ethical deployment and identified low-risk versus high-risk settings for automated solutions. This data is specifically important for language professionals seeking to stay informed about industry-wide shifts. According to the study, most interpreters hold a cautious or negative view of AI. They express concerns about job security, ethical boundaries, and whether machines can truly understand human nuance. Conversely, many language service providers, especially at the organizational level, express optimism about AI's ability to expand access and reduce costs. Clients appreciated the potential for 24/7 availability of services, especially in low-risk contexts such as appointment scheduling or account verification where interpreting is needed. There is a growing divide. While institutions are experimenting with AI, interpreters remain skeptical, especially regarding the use of machine-generated output in real-time interactions. The report also identified cases where AI is already being deployed. Trust remained low, however, in settings where emotional nuance or cultural sensitivity is required. Only a small number of interpreters, that is 11%, reported regular or moderate use of AI in their daily workflow. Most respondents did not believe AI was capable of handling complex interpreting tasks. Yet, there is a growing acknowledgement that synergy between humans and machines is possible and may lead to more efficient interpreting processes when AI is used responsibly. One of the strongest takeaways from the task force report is the need for transparency. If AI is to be used in any professional setting, its capabilities and limitations must be disclosed clearly to clients, to patients, and related stakeholders. This could include acknowledging how data is used, how errors are handled, and what safeguards are in place to prevent misuse. Only by setting clear expectations can we begin to build trust in hybrid models where AI supports but does not replace the human interpreter. As we reflect on this particular survey, several key limitations become evident, many of which significantly affect the weight of its conclusions. One of the primary issues was the limited participant pool. The survey relied heavily on interpreter responses, with very few contributions from language service providers, end users, or LEP individuals. Even the authors acknowledged that the sample size for these groups was too small to capture meaningful patterns, particularly when it comes to assessing user experience and frontline service delivery. Another major concern is the lack of tool-specific testing. While the survey provided general observations and high-level recommendations, it did not systematically evaluate how different AI tools actually perform in interpreter or interpreting workflows. Mentions of computer-assisted interpreting tools were cursory at best, limited to brief comments about terminology preparation. This left out a wide array of AI tools currently being used in practice. It is also worth noting that the surveyors themselves flagged possible biases, not just from participants, but within the design of the survey. While they maintained a balanced tone in their conclusions, their overall sentiment towards AI remained cautious, revealing hesitancy about the broader adoption of AI tools among professionals. Let us now consider another survey, this time from Boost Lingo, a language industry vendor. The survey explores how service providers and remote interpreters are engaging with AI, focusing on current use, sentiment, and future expectations. While not academic in origin, this study provides a useful snapshot of professional practice as of 2023. It highlights industry-specific adoption trends and points to emerging priorities among language professionals in regard to technology adoption, reliability, and perceived job threats. As with the previous Safe AI Task Force report, we should interpret this data within its scope and recognize how rapidly the AI landscape evolves. This 2023 report aimed to measure how the language service provider industry views AI. It included a sentiment analysis and an audit of current tool usage. Survey findings serve as a baseline for understanding how attitudes vary across job roles, between providers and interpreters, and where professional investment is currently being directed. According to the findings, 44% of language service providers are integrating AI into their workflows. Of those, 75% are using AI for translation, and 27% for interpretation. Additionally, 86% of LSPs reported improvement in productivity and quality. However, the report also acknowledged a steep learning curve. For many, AI initially slowed performance due to the time needed to train and adjust workflows. Among remote interpreters surveyed, only 10% reported regular AI use, and nearly half were unfamiliar with its applications. Even so, 84% observed that AI tools contributed to better vocabulary development, improved note-taking strategies, and enriched didactic training experiences, such as refining speech register and tone. Despite some optimism, the report notes reliability concerns and distraction risks. Many interpreters found AI tools difficult to integrate into live settings, where contextual awareness and emotional cues are crucial. The surveyed language service providers held a cautiously optimistic stance, but remote interpreters expressed mixed or uninformed views as per the survey. In fact, 40% feared being replaced by AI, although 36% disagreed with this premise. Notably, 55% of respondents did not believe AI could be reliably used for interpreting services, especially in complex or sensitive interactions. Nonetheless, AI continues to be viewed as a tool that adds value to human interpretation. The consensus was that AI would affect translation more than interpreting, given the structured nature of translation tasks and automation still possible in translation. Still, 52% of interpreters surveyed said that they were open to exploring AI in the future. The report emphasized the need for targeted training to help interpreters adopt these tools responsibly and effectively. This includes not only technical instruction, but also ethical literacy in the use of automated language solutions. From this report, several conclusions emerge. First, concerns about AI's accuracy and reliability persist. Second, issues around privacy and confidentiality continue to shape resistance. The survey calls for stakeholders to develop AI tools that are powerful, usable, and ethically sound. It also highlights the need for continuous education and transparent communication with clients, especially regarding the AI as to what it can do and what it cannot do. These findings echo other surveys and reinforce the demand for critical standards development. Critical evaluation of this report reveals limitations. The sample was small, around 250 stakeholders, and largely limited to remote interpreters. Moreover, the report was produced by a private company operating within the industry, rather than an academic or independent organization. Given how fast AI evolves, findings from 2023 may already be outdated. The report emphasizes the need for education, but failed to specify who would deliver this training or how it would be integrated into existing professional development models. This raises important questions for interpreter training programs and perhaps for interpreter testing and examination programs as well. Now, let's pause for a moment to reflect. Many surveys point to similar conclusions. AI is rapidly gaining ground in language services, but its application is uneven. Professional interpreters express concerns about ethical boundaries, performance standards, and job security. Meanwhile, institutions and service providers emphasize scalability and efficiency. As we transition to the next part of the presentation, we'll explore what tools and technologies are currently available for interpreters who want to begin integrating AI into their workflows. This next section is a practical application of these AI tools. This includes platforms for vocabulary support, transcription assistance, glossary management, and performance feedback. Let's examine what it means to use AI not as a replacement, but as an intelligent assistant that strengthens interpreters' preparedness and delivery. One practical example of how interpreters and translators can leverage AI is through the use of chat-based programs like ChatGPT to boost vocabulary. These are conversational AI systems built on large language models, or LLMs. The acronym GPT stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer. While ChatGPT is the most well-known, there are a few others, such as Google Gemini, that offer similar functionalities. Not all models perform equally, so some are more reliable than others, depending on the task and subject matter. In this context, we can use GPT to be able to generate domain-specific vocabulary. For example, you could ask ChatGPT, could you please create a bilingual list of vocabulary terms in relation to economics in English and in Spanish? This kind of request is known as a prompt. The AI then generates a list of terms, and you can continue the dialogue by asking it to expand the list, provide definitions, or even offer usage examples. As you can see on the slide, the output can be formatted into a table, such as an Excel spreadsheet, effectively building a custom dictionary. This method is in fact scalable and particularly useful when preparing for subject-specific assignments. Essentially, we can now use AI tools like chatbots powered by large language models to help us generate glossaries, build translation memories, and even create personalized term bases, similar to what translators often use with CAT tools. These AI-generated resources can then be imported into whatever system you're using, or simply serve as a reference material to help interpreters expand their vocabulary in a targeted way. The interaction is straightforward. It's like chatting with a machine. You provide a prompt, something like, can you generate a glossary on X topic in English and Spanish? And the system responds with a structured list. You can ask it to span, refine, or reorganize the list as needed. It is fast, flexible, and it's a way to build your own domain-specific terminology. On the next slide, we'll see a brief video that demonstrates exactly how this process works in practice. On this slide, we can see a practical application of GPT in terminology management. In this example, ChatGPT 4.0 was used to update a bilingual Excel glossary. The user uploaded a vocabulary sheet on HVAC systems and instructed the AI to add new terms in both English and Spanish. The system processed the file, appended the appropriate terms in the correct columns, and generated an updated version of the spreadsheet. This kind of use case highlights how GPT-based tools can save time and reduce cognitive load during terminology preparation, especially when working with technical fields such as engineering, medicine, or law. Of course, accuracy checks remain essential, but the workflow potential here is significant. With thoughtful prompting and critical review, such tools become highly effective in interpreter and translator preparation, and it saves time. GPT models are also highly effective for specialized preparation before an interpreting assignment. For example, you can prompt the system with a request like, please provide key terms used in the fabrication of textiles along with their definitions and Spanish equivalents. Within seconds, the AI will render a list of technical terms, definitions, and bilingual equivalents. The success of this workflow depends largely on the quality of the prompt. In other words, your ability to specify exactly what you want influences the relevance and precision of the output. This approach offers a scalable method to prepare for assignments in highly technical fields, where glossary development would otherwise take hours. This slide presents an example of a specific prompt that you can use. Create a forensics bilingual glossary in English and Spanish. The GPT response includes the term in English, its equivalent in Spanish, and a brief definition. This glossary was generated by a colleague who has been testing AI as a language support tool during interpreting training. This is an excellent demonstration of how AI can help interpreters rapidly develop vocabulary for niche domains, allowing you to build your own glossaries dynamically and with contextual support. GPT tools can also assist with brainstorming ideas. For example, for administrative and business tasks, you can prompt the system with list freelance interpreter agencies currently hiring. The AI will then return a list of companies, their contact information, and links to job portals. This in turn makes the AI into a resource not only for terminology support, but for career development and networking. By leveraging these tools strategically, interpreters can gain access to job opportunities, diversify their client base, and maintain up-to-date contact records with minimal effort. Most professionals today carry a smartphone with a camera, which can be used as a quick access translation device. Tools such as Google Lens allows users to translate printed material, books, forms, or signage in real time. The camera is aimed at the text, and the application overlays the translation directly on the screen. In this slide, the demonstration shows real-time translation of a book page from English to Spanish. While this is not sufficient for professional translation, it can be extremely helpful for a quick reference in the field. It is a good example of how interpreters and translators can use simple consumer-grade technology to enhance responsiveness and accuracy on the go. We now shift from single-function tools to broader platforms. There are numerous applications like ChatGPT, Google Translate, and InterpretBank that cater to interpreters' needs, including glossary creation, transcription, and speech training. Microsoft Word and Office 365 offer integrated translation features, particularly through Azure and Power Apps. Some AI tools provide educational support for interpreters preparing for certification exams by generating custom study plans or simulating exam scenarios. This ecosystem of tools is rapidly growing, and interpreters should feel empowered to explore and test different platforms based on their needs and preferences. Interpreter training platforms like InterpreterPro.ai are now using AI to generate custom transcripts and audio recordings tailored to the user's vocabulary list. For example, the interpreter uploads a vocabulary set of terms, and the tool generates dialogue scripts and corresponding AI-generated audio. The simulations replicate real-world scenarios, such as a medical appointment, allowing for immersed, realistic practice. Such tools enable interpreters to refine delivery, improve comprehension, and expand active vocabulary. This personalized training represents a new frontier in interpreter development, although real-world validation of these tools is still ongoing. AI is also being integrated into the workflows of translators, especially in the post-editing of machine-generated content. Tools such as BorrowWorks offer real-time context-sensitive feedback during translation. They assist with identifying lexical errors, mistranslations, and omissions by comparing drafts to validated translation memories. This kind of system improves efficiency and consistency, particularly in large scales or repetitive projects. We now turn to transcription tools, specifically how interpreters can use automated speech recognition, or ASR, to support their workflows. These tools convert spoken language into text in real time and are particularly useful during consecutive interpretation. In this section, we will examine how ASR tools assist in note-taking, accuracy checks, and even in performing side consecutive interpretation. Speech-to-text tools can serve as a powerful aid during interpretation. By transcribing a speaker's input in real time, the interpreter has access to a visual reference, supporting memory retention, minimizing mishearing, and reducing cognitive strain. This approach is particularly useful in the side consecutive mode, where the interpreter reads the transcribed input silently and then renders it aloud. It enables better segmentation, comprehension, and delivery of complex or lengthy utterances. As we'll see in the upcoming demonstration, this workflow represents an effective hybrid of traditional and AI-assisted interpreting techniques. This slide features a demonstration video in which we will observe an interpreter using speech-to-text technology to support their note-taking and interpretation. The tool enables the interpreter to receive a real-time transcription of the spoken dialogue, which they then use to deliver an accurate rendering into the target language. As you watch, notice the interpreter's workflow and how the visual transcription supports segmentation and comprehension.
So this case number 5 in the calendar, Portillo versus Portillo, filed under docket 555-55. Swear him in.
Entonces, este es el caso número 5 en la lista de casos. Portillo contra Portillo, tramitado bajo el número de expediente 555-55. Póngale bajo juramento.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
¿Usted jura o afirma decir la verdad, toda la verdad, y nada más que la verdad?
Sí, juro.
Yes, I swear.
State your name.
Declare su nombre.
Aldo Portillo.
Aldo Portillo.
Sir, the plaintiff is not here on the restraining order filed against you. Since they have not appeared, I'm going to dismiss this case.
Señor, la demandante no se encuentra aquí sobre la orden de alejamiento tramitada contra su persona. Por razón de que ellos no han comparecido, voy a desestimar su caso.
Ya. ¿Qué significa eso?
Right. What does that mean?
Since Miss Portillo is not here, I have to dismiss the complaint against you. The case is over unless she comes back and files a new complaint against you.
Por razón de que la señora Portillo no se encuentra aquí, he desestimado la querella presentada contra su persona. El caso se ha terminado a lo menos que ella regrese y presente una nueva querella contra su persona.
Bueno, jueza, pero ya no hablo con ella. Solo quiero trabajar y seguir adelante con mi vida.
Fine, Judge, but I don't speak with her anymore. I just want to work and go on with my life.
I understand. You will get a copy of the dismissal before you leave. The case is dismissed.
Tengo entendido. Usted va a recibir una copia de la desestimación antes de retirarse. Queda desestimado el caso.
¿Ya me puedo ir?
Can I leave?
Yes, sir, you can leave now.
Sí, señor. Se puede retirar ahora.
Ok, gracias.
Okay, thank you.
Hello, Mr. Polito. I have your test results today.
Buenas, señor Polito. Tengo los resultados de sus exámenes hoy día.
Buenos días, doctora. Sí, está bien.
Good morning, doctor. Yes, that's fine.
Everything seems to be okay. Your cholesterol is a little bit high. You will have to start avoiding fried foods and eat more food to raise your good cholesterol, called high-density lipoprotein.
Todo parece estar bien. Su colesterol está un poquito alto. Usted tiene que empezar a evitar las comidas fritas y comer más comida para poder elevar su colesterol bueno, que se llama lipoproteína de densidad alta. As we saw in the video, the interpreter employed speech-to-text software in a hybrid technique known as site consecutive interpretation. This mode blends traditional consecutive interpretation with site translation, with a few distinctions. The interpreter silently reads and processes the transcribed input as it comes into the display. This allows time for the interpreter, before the statement is finished, to identify words or extract context in advance, and then delivers the message in the target language. After the speaker obviously stops speaking. This approach allows for better organization of ideas and more time to mentally structure the target message. It is different from traditional consecutive in that it provides a visual scaffold to implement the setup. One would need a computer, a transcription software, a boom microphone for in-person interpreting, and a virtual cable for remote environments. This slide illustrates a basic in-person setup. You will need a laptop or desktop computer, a boom microphone for high-fidelity input capture of audio, and a standard stenopad for manual note-taking. On the left side, we can see an example of a boom mic, commonly used in audio production but equally effective for interpretation scenarios. On the right is a typical interpreter's notepad. While AI assists with transcription, physical notes remain essential for capturing a speaker's intent, special terminology, and non-verbal cues. Here's a close-up of the boom microphone used in the previous slide. These devices are inexpensive and widely available online or in retail electronics stores. They offer superior noise canceling compared to built-in laptop microphones. Plugging one directly into your laptop ensures higher accuracy in transcription. There are many software options for ASR. We have Microsoft Word's dictation feature available through Office 365. This is a practical choice available. Other options include Google's Live Caption, Web Captioner, and Dragon Professional. There are many others. Each has unique features and various degrees of customization. Selection should be based on your preferred workflow. Some tools offer better multi-language support, while others excel in speed or transcription accuracy. Experimentation is recommended to find the best match for your interpreting needs. To set up transcription in Microsoft Word, ensure that you have Office 365 installed. Open a new document and activate the dictate feature. This feature uses Microsoft's speech-to-text engine to capture audio and transcribe in real time. Make sure your microphone is connected and functioning before you begin. Once a blank document is open, click on the Dictate button found in the toolbar. This activates the ASR engine and prepares the interface for voice input. The microphone icon will change color when it starts listening. From this point on, all spoken input will appear in the document as live transcription. Before using Dictate, adjust the settings to optimize performance. Click on the gear icon to access preferences. Here you can choose your input language, toggle punctuation features, and filter sensitive phrases. Some interpreters disable auto punctuation to reduce distractions. Others may configure input devices manually if using external microphones. Within the settings menu, select your preferred language, English, Spanish, or other, and choose your microphone from the list of connected devices. In this example, we have the Univo JV601 boom microphone that has been selected. It is advisable to disable automatic punctuation and sensitive phrase filters as they can interfere with transcription clarity. Click OK to finalize the setup. To begin transcribing, simply click the microphone icon. As the speaker talks, microphone word will transcribe the speech into the document in real time. Once the statement concludes, stop the dictation and proceed with your interpretation. This method facilitates site-consecutive interpretation and provides an additional layer of support for interpreters working under cognitive load, especially for prolonged statements. Once your speech-to-text setup is configured, activating dictation becomes simple. Click on the Dictate button to start transcribing speech in real time. This process allows you to use the transcription as a basis for performing site-consecutive interpretation. You may pause or stop the transcription once the speaker finishes speaking, using the resulting text to assist you with rendering the message. This approach merges traditional interpreting skills with the benefits of technology tools via real-time transcription. Even with transcription support, interpreters may find that note-taking is still useful, though less extensive than in traditional consecutive interpretation. With live transcription, many phrases and structures are already captured on screen, freeing up cognitive bandwidth. This reduces the pressure to retain large blocks of content or chunking. However, selective note-taking may still be beneficial for context cues, corrections, or omissions. You might ask, if we already have a full transcription, why take notes at all? Well, the answer lies in transcription's limitations. It often misses proper nouns in languages other than English, specialized terminology, false cognates, or borrowed words. Some of these mistakes and errors are predictable: names, technical phrases, or code switching, and interpreters can flag these manually on their notepad. Using both transcription and note-taking creates a more robust memory support system and improves overall interpretation fidelity. Please also take into account the environment of where the parties are located. If it is a very noisy environment and if you're not utilizing the appropriate microphone, transcription will have more mistakes. Let's walk through the workflow one more time. And this is just an example. You may arrive at your assignment with your laptop, boom microphone, transcription software, and notepad. After you are done with your setup, you launch the transcription engine and begin capturing speech whenever somebody talks. Simultaneously, you may jot down important terms or corrections as needed on your notepad. Once the speaker pauses, you review the transcription and deliver the interpretation. In a live setting, and solely as an example, this might sound like, hello, my name is Interpreter X, and I'll be your interpreter today. This opening statement sets a professional tone and builds trust with the limited English proficient individual. Clear instructions also give you the opportunity to explain the presence of equipment, helping manage expectations and reduce confusion. It's good practice to explain your setup briefly to the LEP. You may say, I'm going to place this microphone near you so I can capture your words clearly. The transcription will help me deliver an accurate interpretation or something like that. I'm just giving you an example. This could foster transparency. It could build a rapport and allow the LEP to feel like an informed participant in the communication process. With permission, place the microphone in front of the LEP. Positioning should allow for clear voice capture while maintaining personal space. This is especially important in healthcare or legal settings where sensitivity and professionalism is paramount. In essence, depending on your setting, and this is just an example, you may have this type of rapport with the LEP. You might not be allowed to have this type of rapport depending on the type of interpretation you're doing. But this is just an example. Then you'll activate your transcription software, such as Microsoft Word dictation or any other ASR tool. And then you can start capturing the LEP speech. As the words appear on the screen in real time, you can begin mentally processing and preparing your target language rendering. This workflow allows you to stay one step ahead while maintaining high interpretive accuracy. One of the advantages of this method is that you don't need to wait for the entire transcription to finish. As soon as the first few words appear on the screen, you can begin internalizing meaning. By the time the LEP finishes speaking, you'll already have formed much of the response. This real-time support aids comprehension and improves confidence during your delivery. And finally, this slide illustrates the full interpreter workflow. Seated with a laptop, transcription active, microphone placed appropriately, and notepad ready. This hybrid approach integrates both analog and digital tools, reinforcing your cognitive process and enhancing interpretation outcomes. It's a future-ready strategy that leverages automation while maintaining the core human role in language mediation. Let's now look at how to apply speech-to-text tools in remote interpreting using Microsoft Word. The setup is nearly identical to in-person configurations, with the key difference being that the digital routing of the audio is quite different. For this, you'll need a virtual audio cable or audio interface software. Since time does not permit a full walkthrough, I've included helpful video links in this slide, both for Windows and Mac systems. You can also find additional content in my YouTube channel, which is also on the slide, where I demonstrate remote interpreting setups step by step. As an alternative to Microsoft Word for transcriptions, we have Google's Live Caption. This tool is also useful for remote interpreting scenarios. To use it, we will need either a desktop or mobile device running the Google Chrome browser or a laptop. Once enabled, it can provide real-time captions for media content, video calls, or live meetings. Essentially, it will convert speech to text from any source that is streamed through the browser. To activate Google Live Captions, open your Chrome browser and navigate to the Settings menu. From there, you will look for the Accessibility section. This is where the live caption option can be found and toggled on. Unlike Microsoft Word, this tool is not designated for document creation, but rather for on-screen captions, visibility, and support. You will select Accessibility by clicking the button. Within the accessibility settings, you will see the live caption feature. You will enable it. Once active, it will begin listening to any audio played through the Chrome browser and generate real-time captions. After enabling the live captions feature, you can also select additional languages. For example, you can add Spanish, French, or Portuguese, depending on your working languages. You may also experiment with live translation option, though it's still limited in accuracy from my experience. In testing, live translation provided mixed results. It is useful in simple cases, but not reliable for high-stakes interpretation. Always proof the output and assess its appropriateness for your particular setting. When live captions are active, then you'll see real-time subtitles appear across the bottom of your browser window. This is helpful in virtual meetings and recorded sessions, but the tool has several limitations. It doesn't store or allow you to revisit prior text. It has a character cap, meaning if the speaker continues without pausing, and then the earlier content disappears. This makes it difficult to fully capture or review longer uterosentences by the speaker unless the speaker stops midstream. Let's now shift to a different function of AI, document translation. Generative AI tools like ChatGPT or Gemini can be used to translate documents quickly and with a fair degree of accuracy. These models are capable of handling pasted content or even uploaded files, depending on the platform. We'll now walk you through how this can be done effectively. To start, simply open your preferred AI chatbot and provide a clear prompt. For example, please translate this document from English into Spanish. If your tool supports file uploads, drag your PDF or Word file into the chat window. Alternatively, you can copy and paste the text. AI will return a draft translation. Please remember that this output must always be reviewed and refined by you. It is always advisable to do a quality control. This slide shows an example using Gemini. The user asks, "Hi Gemini, can you translate a document for me?" and receives a friendly, structured reply. The bot requests the language of the document, the desired target language, and the method of input. The interactive exchange demonstrates the ease of use and the clear structure that many generative AI tools provide. And finally, here's an example of the final product. A user uploaded a cybersecurity glossary in English and asked for a Spanish translator. And finally, here's an example of the final result. A user uploaded a cybersecurity glossary in English and asked for a Spanish translation. The AI maintained formatting, column structure, and terminology accuracy reasonably well. But human review is always essential, particularly for glossaries and technical content. This is quite valuable for your workflow as an interpreter and translator preparing for assignments in specialized domains. Responsible use of AI should always be the foundation when integrating these tools into our professional workflows. As interpreters and translators, we're guided by a code of ethics that emphasizes confidentiality and accuracy. When using AI, it is advisable to always disclose the use of AI to our superiors or clients, particularly in institutional or freelance settings, where different AI usage policies may apply, as you may need prior approval to leverage these tools. Before integrating AI into your workflow, check the platform's data handling policy to understand how it processes, stores, and manages information. Being transparent about AI use builds trust and aligns with ethical best practices, especially in fields like healthcare, law, and education, where language accuracy and privacy are paramount. Now we enter the part of the presentation I find most exciting: research studies. These help us understand how AI performs in actual interpreting scenarios. We'll start with academic research that evaluates the integration of AI into language services. These studies move beyond anecdotes and opinion surveys. They provide data-driven insights into the benefits and drawbacks of AI use in interpreting workflows. Let's begin with a medical pilot study exploring the integration of automatic speech recognition, ASR, into remote healthcare interpreting. The goal of the study was to examine how ASR affects interpreting performance when used as a support tool. This study was conducted in 2024. It's titled Integrating Automatic Speech Recognition into Remote Healthcare Interpreting, a pilot study of its impact and interpreting quality. The study used a control methodology involved 4 female trainee interpreters from the University of Surrey, working in the English-Chinese language pair. Each participant interpreted from a set of scripted medical consultations that simulated realistic private hospital scenarios. The researchers controlled the variables like word count, speech rate, and script readability to ensure consistency across tests. There were 4 randomized experimental conditions: no ASR support, partial ASR support, full ASR support, and full ASR that was summarized. Key findings from the study showed that interpreting quality improved most significantly when full ASR transcripts were combined with ChatGPT-generated summaries. Interpreters made fewer errors, particularly in terminology, numbers, and message retention. The study also found that the type of AI support used affected the nature of the errors. For example, with no ASR supports, errors were more likely to involve the following types: omissions, additions, mistranslations or substitutions, terminology errors, and register errors. With partial support, terminology issues remain common. With full transcripts and summaries, the rate of such errors decreased across all categories, including register and meaning preservation. Interestingly, participants prefer full transcripts over summaries alone. This suggests that while summarization tools like GPT offer some value, interpreters benefit more from having access to the full language input, allowing them to make informed, context-sensitive decisions during delivery. The study also had limitations. The participant pool was very small, only 4 interpreters. We don't know their professional backgrounds or experience levels, which makes it hard to generalize the findings. The interpreters were not allowed to take notes during the sessions as well. This differs from real-world workflows where interpreters use ASR typically, and they support their performance with note-taking, especially during site consecutive interpreting or just plain consecutive interpreting. The researchers restricted note-taking to enable eye tracking analysis during the sessions. While this is useful, this design constraint may have suppressed performance compared to what experienced interpreters would demonstrate under normal working conditions. Finally, since all participants were trained in the experimental protocols, their performance may not reflect that of professional interpreters unfamiliar with this kind of setup. In conclusion, this study does suggest that integrating ASR into interpreting workflows, especially in remote medical settings, can yield measurable improvements in quality. The combination of full transcripts and AI-generated summaries appears to offer the greatest support. However, more research is needed. Future studies should involve larger, more diverse pools of participants and include real-world variables like note-taking, environmental noise, and domain-specific terminology. The preliminary data, though, is promising, but we cannot assume that it would apply across all settings or to fully certified professionals without further investigation. Let's now examine another pilot study, this time from 2015, that explored the use of computer-assisted interpreting in interpreting training. The focus of the study was on the integration of a tool called Interpret Bank into a master's level interpreter training program. 12 graduate students were divided in 2 groups, Group A and Group B. Group A received more hands-on exploratory exposure to the computer-assisted interpreting tool through 3 independent practice sessions. Group B, by contrast, experienced a more structured, train-led approach that included 3 guided instruction sessions and just 1 practice session for the interpreting tool that was used in the interpreting booth. The study aims to evaluate how different instructional models influence confidence, tool adoption, and overall effectiveness in integrating computer assisted interpreting tools during simultaneous interpretation. To visualize the difference, here we have a graph where it shows that Group A received more booth time and rotated interpreting partners during each session, allowing them to personalize their tool as far as using it and collaborate dynamically within the team. Group B, meanwhile, kept the same partner and followed a highly structured training regimen, which limited their exposure to real-time tool use. Group A engaged in exploratory learning, interpreting live while interacting with the tool, whereas Group B's exposure was limited and constrained by instructor guidance. As a result, Group A showed more confidence using the tool, and it showed that there was more strong collaboration skills between them, even with the rotating partners. In Group B, participants had mixed confidence and showed weaker teamwork, which may be tied to their limited hands-on experience. What's interesting is that in Group A, there was also less concerns about the risk of over-reliance on the tool. In contrast, in Group B, the team expressed more concern about becoming too dependent on the software. The key findings were clear. Group A was better at interpreting using the tool into live interpreting workflows due to the fact that their greater hands-on exposure to the tool benefited them. Group B understood the theory, but struggled a little bit with the practical application of it. Both groups were able to locate relevant terminology using the tool, but this did not always translate into improved real-time performance. Group A's team interactions were stronger, possibly because of the active repetitive exposure. Group B's weaker interactions may reflect the minimal boot time or hands-on training that they had. Some interpreters across both groups reported the tool to be distracting. It's a common issue when working with new technology in high-pressure environments. Nonetheless, all participants found the tool useful and user-friendly. Group A appreciated the freedom to experiment with the tool, while Group B appreciated the structured guidance that was given, but they felt less certain about their workflow integration. This study reinforces the value of integrating AI tools like InterpretBank into interpreters' training. The findings point to a critical balance. Hands-on practice is essential for sure, but theoretical grounding and structure support also matter. Team dynamics and awareness of tool limitations are equally important. Over-reliance is always a risk, especially if an interpreter decides to abandon note-taking altogether and just blindly trust the tool suggestions. If the tool fails mid-session, or if the interpreter hasn't built any backup strategy, the consequences can be significant. That's why the mantra trust but verify is particularly important here. And that applies with any tool, a tool like ASR or a computer assisted interpreting tool can be transformative in a way, but only when paired with judgment, preparation, and some restraint. You have to know the balance as to how much to trust or how little to trust. As we've seen in other sections, um, professionals who don't engage with AI tools risk falling behind. Perhaps those who do become more familiar with these AI tools. Arguably, that could be that could soon apply to translators and interpreters as well, as how it is happening with other professions. But we don't know exactly what the future holds. Um, Staying curious, being creative, having some sort of hands-on training, and open to experimenting with these tools, sometimes in ways that their creators never imagined the tool to be used as, may position us as interpreters to uh, lead rather than just lag in the next evolution of language services. In this final section, I'd like to share with you some insights from my independent research and personal experiments with AI tools. These findings are based on real-world testing, trial and error workflows, and the feedback from colleagues across various interpreting domains. The purpose of this section is to give you an authentic view of how these technologies perform under practical conditions. Over the past several years, I've observed the evolution of AI from a clumsy tool that struggled with basic translations to a sophisticated engine capable of surprisingly nuanced interpretation. Some of you may recall humorous mistranslations from a few years ago, signs, menus, or public notices that made no sense that were translated using machine translation. Those days, while not entirely gone, are now less common. Since the pandemic, I've tested AI transcription and translation tools extensively. Accuracy in my tests has increased from about 50% in 2019 to between 85 to 90% in 2024, depending on the subject matter I was working on. I've also witnessed a growing number of interpreters adopting these tools informally due to lack of formal training opportunities. Although there are training opportunities now available, they're still few. You can quickly search the internet and find a few of them. Interpreters are leveraging these tools, and the number of interpreters using AI is increasing in number, offering their services even, in fact, including mentioning site consecutive via ASR. These are my preliminary observations. AI significantly enhances accuracy during long speech segments, which is especially useful in consecutive interpreting and site consec. Transcription tools bridge memory tree limitations and supplement note-taking. Minor technical limitations remain, such as occasional misrecognition of proper names or borrowed terms, but overall, we are well past the beta testing phase when it comes to AI. Selecting the right AI tool for your workflow is critical. Not all tools deliver the same results. In my view, interpreters who master the tools like site consecutive using ASR, speech-to-text softwares, will likely outperform their traditional only peers in both speed and fidelity, with a few exceptions. Let's now briefly recap today's session. We've explored how AI is being used in medical and legal fields, the sentiment from language professionals, the tools currently available, and the scholarly research evaluating AI integration into interpreting. We also discussed best practices and my own research. AI is rapidly enhancing our workflows. Interpreters now have tools for vocabulary prep, transcription, summarization, and even feedback. While demo videos in today's presentation show some promise, challenges remain, especially in nuanced or emotionally sensitive contexts. The technology also makes mistakes. We must thoroughly test these tools, develop standards of practice, and ensure that educational institutions equip future professional interpreters and translators with hands-on AI literacy. To conclude, AI interpreting is already good enough for low-risk, predictable dialogues. AI is not the enemy, it is a tool. But like all tools, it must be wisely used, as we've seen too much trust or too little trust on AI tools are both pitfalls. We must find the balance, trust the tool enough to gain its efficiency, but verify the results to ensure quality. With ethical integration and careful application, AI can help us work smarter and serve our clients better. The future of language services is likely to be hybrid, AI-powered, human-led. Thank you very much for your time and attention. I've included a list of references at the end of this presentation where you can review much of the information we covered today. The demonstration videos shown earlier are also linked. Feel free to connect with me via LinkedIn. If you have any questions or would like to discuss these topics further, you may reach out to me also through my YouTube channel and send me a message. I wish you continued success in your professional journey and take care and be well.